Howdy Tallahassee, this is Nikki Kanaka, student meteorologist, bringing you your Wednesday edition of FSU weather. Looking over this beautiful sunset right now at Doak, it's just starting to go down. You can see those pretty little colors are starting to come out, and it's currently 79 degrees, and there's a few clouds in the sky, but it's still pretty nice. We have a little bit of a wind though, so make sure that you don't get blown away or anything. Right now, as I said, 79 in Tallahassee. The farther up north you go, we have 80 in Donaldsonville and 82 in Quincy, but closer to the coast, it's a little bit cooler at 74 in Perry and 72 in Apalachicola. Right now, we are seeing a pretty clear radar, but as you can see over here in Liberty County, we are seeing a little bit of smoke showing up on the radar. So, and maybe there's a forest fire or something like that, but we shouldn't have to worry about that in Tallahassee. Tonight we have a storm coming across the southeast, a brief cool down this weekend, and a look into tornado safety. All that and more tonight on FSU Weather.
Yeah, Nikki, so you're showing us those temperatures that are getting into the low 80s. We're steering around the upper 70s. And guess what today is? Today is March 1st, but not only that, it's the first day of meteorological spring. Not to be confused with astronomical spring, which starts on March 20th. But yeah, temperatures are really a little bit warm. But with March comes what? Comes severe weather. So the real peak months for severe weather are going to be March, April, and May. So we're going to give you a lot of insight about that. But currently, let's stay close to home. Let's see those warm conditions. Nikki, show us, what are we feeling like in Tallahassee?
Thank you so much, Genevieve. It has been quite a warm day outside. As I would say, unseasonably warm, but as you said, it is the first day of meteorological spring. 79 degrees here, and again, another beautiful look over Doak. You can see that sun setting a little bit. It has been setting a little bit later every single day as we are starting to move seasons. As I also said earlier in the overview, it is also not anything precipitation-wise in the Tallahassee area, but if we move over to Liberty County, we are seeing a little bit of smoke, maybe prescribed burn or something of that sort. 79 here, 82 in Quincy, 80 in Valdosta, and as we move towards the coast, it's a little bit cooler, 74 in Perry and 72 in Apalachicola. Our temperature almanac is showing that we are above average for this time of year, but not too bad. We are a little bit close to hitting the record, only 3 degrees off today, which is a little bit bonkers in my opinion. It warmed up way too quick. I feel like we didn't get that much of a winter, but can't complain too much. I did choose to live in Tallahassee. It is very wet, as always, humid here, 66 dew point in Tallahassee, and as we move towards the coast, it gets a little bit higher because, you know, we're closer to the water, so it's 72 in Apalachicola, and around the area, it's pretty wet all around. In the future, we are not seeing anything for Wednesday, but as we get into Thursday, you can see some rain might be coming towards our way in Tallahassee, so make sure that you're looking out and keeping track of your radar to make sure that you are not stuck in the rain walking to class on Thursday, because that would be quite unfortunate. Tonight we're going to see 66, a little bit more tolerable if you want to go out, maybe eat dinner outside, go on a walk with your friends. I'm going to the movies tonight, so I'm staying out of that heat, even though it is going to be a little bit better as we go into this evening. And tonight we're going to be seeing 67 in Monticello, 68 in Tallahassee, and basically the same all around the Big Bend region, high 60s all around the board. As we go into tomorrow, it is going to be a high of 80 degrees, still pretty toasty for our Knowles here and everyone else in the Tallahassee area. We'll also be seeing some winds, so make sure, maybe if you don't like the wind, it'll make it a little bit cooler, so make sure you keep out with that. There might be some showers as well. And as we go into tomorrow, around the area, it's going to be 80s, mostly around the board, but as you can see in St. Mark's and around the coast, it's going to be a little bit cooler at around 75 degrees. Going into the week ahead, you can see Thursday and Friday we have those chances of rain, which will bring a little bit of a cool down in our area, but it's going to go right back up to the 80s and high 80s or mid 80s for the rest of the week. But let's see what the rest of Florida is looking like, Nick.
Thank you, Nikki. Yeah, the rest of Florida is pretty much in the same boat as Tallahassee. We've been seeing these past few weeks, this string of days where it's been unseasonably warm for a long period of time. As you can see right now in Tallahassee at 6 p.m., it's almost 80 degrees, which is pretty rare. And for most of the rest of the state, in Orlando and in Tampa, in Miami, they were in the 80s for most of the day. And in Pensacola and in Jacksonville as well, it was relatively warm. And actually, most of the state has some pretty muggy conditions. Interestingly enough, South Florida is less humid than Pensacola, and as I'm from Miami, I usually appreciate these drier conditions that Tallahassee usually has, but in these past few days, early in the morning when I go outside, it hits me like immediately. I feel that humidity and it brings me back home to Miami. So Pensacola is relatively muggy, so if you guys are out there, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. As for our radar, most of Florida is actually relatively clear. Most of the severe weather is up here in northern Mississippi and Arkansas, but we won't have to worry about that for the time being. North Florida will get some precipitation later on in the week. But zooming into Tallahassee, we do not have any precipitation. This green that you see right here over Apalachicola National Forest is likely due to some forest fire. Not sure if it's a prescribed burn or if it is a wildfire, but it is just some smoke that is popping up on the radar, and we do have some passing clouds. And as for a look at the Lakefront Park, we can see that it is partly cloudy, some clouds off into the distance, but it's actually a really beautiful sunset we have right now, 75 degrees, and with a slight wind from the south at 13 miles per hour. As for the Central Florida, again, just like the rest of the state, it's relatively clear, just some passing clouds coming up from the west, but as in terms of precipitation, there is nothing to be seen for the time being. As you can see from this live look, again, Gainesville is going to have, just like Tallahassee, is going to have a beautiful sunset. It's relatively sunny, a little bit warmer than we have here at 79. And winds from the west-southwest at 10 miles per hour. And for South Florida, the same pattern continues, just some slight upper level clouds if anything, but there really isn't no precipitation. It's just hanging off right outside the Atlantic coast. And here you can see a live look from our Miami cam, and you can see those upper level clouds. And again, relatively warm at 79 miles per hour, and also a strong wind from the south-southeast at 11 miles per hour. Here you can see our rainfall forecast for the next week. And the only place that will see some rain, about an inch or two, would be Tallahassee, the upper Panhandle region, from Pensacola all the way to Tallahassee. Most of that severe weather will stay up above in the Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia regions. But for the rest of Florida, you won't be seeing any more rain. As for tonight in Tallahassee, temperatures are going to be relatively warm. Temperatures up in the upper 60s and 70s. And as for tomorrow, temperatures are going to be warm again, almost hitting 90 in Orlando. So I'm kind of worried about that severe weather. You think you could tell me more about it, Evan?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at that Florida map right there, you have no idea that there's a multi-day severe weather outbreak in the southeast. But the good news is that I'm going to be here to fill you guys in on what's going on, and if that will make its way towards the Tallahassee region by we get to later this week. So we do have that multi-day severe weather threat that's present in portions of the southeast United States right now. For today, we have an enhanced level 3 out of 5 risk. And then for tomorrow, we have a moderate level 4 out of 5 risk. This is the real deal. This is nothing to joke about. This is a very intense system that we're dealing with here, and all modes of severe weather are possible. So that's damaging winds, large hail, and of course that threat for tornadoes. So everything is on the table with this. We'll start with the outlook for today. There's that enhanced risk, that level 3 out of 5, that extends to places like Memphis, back towards Little Rock, Arkansas as well, and then back into places in eastern Oklahoma and Texas right now. So again, a lot of places are going to be dealing with this threat, and also that threat for hail. This hatched area is what we're most concerned about. That's that threat for significant hail. So that's hail in excess of 2 inches in diameter, falling within 25 miles of a point on this map. So you want to be aware of this, especially if you are not accustomed to dealing with hail. I know that I am not, so I don't have the necessary things to protect my car from that kind of hail. So you want to make sure that you're parking that car away from any of that hail tonight and into tomorrow as well. We also have that threat for tornadoes today. Those are our two biggest risks, is hail and tornadoes for today. And that hatched area is where you could see some significant tornadoes, EF2 or stronger, within 25 miles of a point on this map. So again, we want to be cognizant of these threats going into tonight, because we do have an active tornado watch for portions of Oklahoma, Texas, not Little Rock, Arkansas, Tennessee and Mississippi there. That goes until 10 p.m. this evening. And we do have some active severe thunderstorm warnings embedded in that tornado watch currently. So let's take a look at what some of those may look like. Working their way along I-49 here and along I-40 as well. Heading right into Little Rock, we do have, there's that one warning right now. Some of these thunderstorms could also be quite tall enough, maybe like the Egyptian pyramids, kind of really getting up into that upper atmosphere. So you want to be aware that these are some really strong storms and nothing to really joke about. These are the real deal kind of event. And this is really the main story for tomorrow. We have a level 4 out of 5, a moderate risk for severe thunderstorms going into tomorrow. And we'll actually be doing live severe coverage tomorrow night after tomorrow's show, bringing you the latest information on all of those storms and as they develop, because this is really what we're most concerned about. There's that threat for tornadoes. We have that 15% chance of the tornadoes from places just east of Dallas, extending into Arkansas and Louisiana as well. Again, that significant threat for EF2 or stronger tornadoes. We also have that threat for some significant hail as well in those same areas. And this is what we're probably most worried about, is that damaging wind threat. 45% chance of seeing damaging winds in excess of 60 miles an hour in the purple region and in excess of 75 miles an hour in that hatched region. So really intense stuff. And that threat slides over to the east towards Tallahassee on Friday, so you want to be aware of that. I wouldn't be surprised to see an enhanced risk pop up with this over the next couple of days or so. But here's that future radar on how this plays out. Tonight we deal with some of those in that enhanced region. We get a break during the day tomorrow, and then storms really start to percolate there in Oklahoma and Texas and work their way east tomorrow evening. But Genevieve, how is the southeast looking? I know they got severe threat on the table. What else we got?
Absolutely. I just want to highlight real quick, Evan, that a key word that you said is being cognizant. Now, that's really important, as we will prepare you with our tornado desk, how to be prepared during that kind of severe weather, but really being cognizant, keeping your weather radio and staying in the lowest level of your home, that is really key. As for the southeast, we're looking pretty nice. Currently, we have a little bit chillier on this map with our WeatherStem camera over in Blacksburg, Virginia at 58 degrees. But for the rest of the map, we're looking pretty nice. Gainesville, ooh, you got something on your camera. Maybe you should fix it. Fix your football team too, maybe. I don't know. Go Knowles. Current temperatures for the southeast, we're looking pretty nice. You will see these temperatures kind of be greater than normal, as these are anomalies kinds of temperatures which are greater than what we normally see. Dew points as well, it's feeling quite moist. It's really high dew points as we see that dry line as well as that cold front cutting through just to the west of the southeast. So before that cold front moves in, here above the front, we have that really moist air, and behind it, that dry air. And where that system meets is where we have that instability causing this severe weather. Like I was saying, these temperatures being so red on that bar up there, meaning we're getting into plus 10 degrees from our normal temperatures, is really an anomaly. This isn't normal as we inch out of winter and into spring, but it is quite hot, and we work with what we have. Just like working with what we have, we need to work with that tornado watch over into the western part of the southeast as we inch into southern Arkansas and into northern Mississippi. So please be aware of that. Let's zoom in closer to see those exact towns and cities as we see really a lot of rain, severe thunderstorms crossing through north of Little Rock. So please, if you are in that region, please stay at home. And we'll see that rain persist throughout the next coming days, really making it not ideal conditions. And we see more of that rain crossing over into Tallahassee as we see a good amount of possible showers coming through tomorrow and into Friday as well. Now we'll have a beautiful graphic which will show us that rainfall really highlighted as we see that close to almost 5 inches into northern Mississippi. So really quite a lot of rain. Stay home if you can. And that excess rainfall is just going to be highlighted for today as well as tomorrow as we see that peak, just like an Egyptian pyramid, going into tomorrow's weather for our severe weather. Tonight, we're looking at 66 degrees here in Tallahassee. Tomorrow, it'll be pretty warm, 80 degrees, but tornado safety, that's definitely important. Nikki, Nico, what do we have to say?
So yeah, now that we're entering meteorological spring on March 1st, we are entering the peak of tornado season, which usually runs for, at least here in the southeast, It runs usually from March, April, May, but tornadoes can happen any time of the year. I actually remember a couple years ago there was a devastating event on Christmas Day in Arkansas, but you should always be prepared, but know that this time right now is the time to be most aware.
Yes, and in that case, if there is a tornado, you should always know where you should go. In your home, the safest place to be in that kind of event is in an interior room, as many walls as you can have in between you and the outside, on the first floor preferably, and if you live in a place where people have basements, a basement is definitely the place that you want to be at.
And you also want to make sure you have access to information such as a NOAA radio or your iPhone, which gives government alerts from the NWS to make sure you are informed. And you also want to know the main difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. So I like to use the cupcake analogy. So in a tornado watch, basically you have all the ingredients. If you're making a cupcake, all the ingredients, you need sugar, you need flour, you need eggs. So in a tornado watch, you might have the ingredients present like shear and convection and stability, but not everything is in the right order to make a tornado. Now in a tornado warning, it's like the cupcake is starting to cook. You have all the ingredients that are ready to form a tornado. So if you are in a tornado warning, that's when you should take cover. If you are in a tornado watch, you should be very aware and be ready to take cover at any moment.
Yes, and I was saying before, nowhere to go. If you're in your car, you should try to find a place like a building that's more stable. Don't hide under your car or anything like that. Stay in an interior room of your house. Personally, if I was in my apartment, I'd be in my bathroom with my mattress over my bathtub.
And also make sure never to go under an overpass, because that's where tornadoes, the wind actually funnels through and makes conditions very, very dangerous. So Genevieve, will there be any tornadoes for the rest of the country other than the Southeast?
Now, Nico, not really tornadoes once we go outwards, but other kinds of weather, maybe some snow blanketing the northern tier and even into the southwest. We'll look at that in just a second. The temperatures, you'll see that kind of reflecting where there's possibility for snow as we see the bluer colors and into purple into Canada. Canadians, I don't know how you do it because it is always freezing, but I mean, summers might be nice. But speaking of summer, we have that kind of summer-like conditions as we see that sun shining here in Tallahassee, 79 degrees. We're getting into spring, but really it's quite warm. And as Nico was pointing out earlier, the dew points are high. And we'll see that highlighted here on our dew point map, as you'll see ahead of that cold front and that line right here where we have that more moist conditions and higher dew point ahead of it and the drier conditions behind it, where you see here, wow, 67-degree dew point in San Antonio, and if you go slightly west over to Albuquerque, New Mexico, 14, you'll see that line is where we have that instability causing the severe weather that we are seeing over the next couple days. Along with severe weather, we have these really hot conditions. Now with these hot conditions, don't think this is so normal as to what we normally see on March 1st. These are actually, at least in the southeast, a little bit higher than what we normally see for our current temperatures. We're getting into plus 10 degrees from what we normally see. Now, like I was showing that front earlier, let me just highlight that low pressure system where you see that low pressure hovering over into Arkansas, going to be moving into Mississippi where we have these unstable conditions, and right below that is draped the tornado watch. So absolutely, if you are in that region, please be careful as best as possible. Keep your weather radio close. You'll see that water vapor really highlighting all that instability, where we have the bluer and lighter colors highlighting all the moisture and really the drier conditions, the high pressure over to the west. Now for the central radar, we'll see you're looking pretty good. I mean, you might see a pop-up shower if you are into Wisconsin, but overall, not too bad. Northeast, though, I know you were celebrating some snow coming, which is still persisting. And if you're in New York, I don't know how much snow you were seeing, maybe close to 1 inch. I know our good weathercaster, Evan, he's raving about that. His dog, Ollie, is raving about that. But please be careful shoveling that 1 inch of snow. I mean, I can't even say that you'll be breaking your back. But remember, bend at the knees, not at the back, if you do have to shovel that mere centimeters, millimeters of snow that you'll be getting, but always something to take note. And if you are looking into the Gulf Coast and here closer to the Panhandle, pretty nice right now, though keep your umbrella closed for tomorrow and into Friday. The West Coast, that's or the southwest, I should say, which is really seeing a good amount of rain as well as snow covering southern parts of California, which we saw blizzard warnings last week and earlier this week, which, you know, Southern California, you don't expect that, but really, what I'm really saying is don't always expect what you think. Any kind of weather can come, and with that, we have these warmer conditions that we don't always expect, but we do have to deal with, as well as that precipitation, lots of rain coming into the southern plains. Really, you'll see that rain highlighted over the next couple days as we see that rainfall forecast really persist. And Nikki, any rain in our forecast for Tallahassee? What about tomorrow, maybe Friday?
Oh, there is a little bit of a chance of rain on Thursday, and definitely a little bit of a higher chance of rain as we go into Friday. But let's take a little look about our around town. Starting FSU Sportsplex, if you play any IM sports, it's going to be a gorgeous night to go out and play. I think that there are currently soccer playoffs going on, so good luck to all the teams out there. I really enjoyed watching my friends play this week. Panama City, a beautiful sunset always over that beach, and as well as Lake Bradford and St. George Island, always just a beautiful sunset over the water. I wish I could go out and see that, but I have to be here telling you the weather. It is 79 degrees here. One last look over Doak Campbell. You can see just a beautiful half circle going over the stadium, giving us the end of a beautiful, beautiful day. Right now, if you want to travel around, it is going to be great. If you're leaving Tallahassee, no delays right now. It is clear. It is gorgeous, as I have been saying quite a few times. Maybe you're flying to the Egyptian pyramids or somewhere else that's cool, like Atlanta, or maybe if you're going to or from Denver, there might be a few delays. It is pretty frigid over there right now, so I definitely would rather be visiting the Egyptian pyramids in that case. If you're going out to walk your pet, your cat, your dog, your lizard, your fish, it is going to be a great time to do so tomorrow in the morning. 67, just absolutely awesome to go out and do that. 71, and then by 11, it's going to be 77, a 10-degree difference. So if you like it a little bit cooler, I would suggest walking your pet a little bit earlier. As you can see, it is going to be a little bit foggy or cloudy tonight, so it might not be the best night to watch stars, but if you're a big moon fan, tonight we're going to be seeing a 24% waxing gibbous. That is cool and awesome. If you're going to be watching softball in 2 days, it's going not to be the best day. 79, it's a good temperature, but it's going to be windy and there are possibilities of thunderstorms, so I would suggest maybe watching it on your TV with your friends, have a little stay-in night and watch that softball game. If you're going to be watching the ACC Women's Basketball Tournament and support our Noles, we're doing very well this season. It's going to be a great day to do so. They're playing in North Carolina. It's going to be 65. It's going to be cloudy outside, but there's nothing wrong with a little bit of a gloomy day. It makes it more comfy cozy when you go inside the stadium to watch that game. And if you're going to be watching at Virginia Tech, maybe going on a little road trip this weekend, it's going to be a great day to do so. 51 degrees and sunny to watch our Noles play against Virginia Tech. Hopefully we can do a good job. If you saw that game against Miami, that was also really good. Our beach cam is showing it's kind of nice outside, but as we're going into the weekend, there is a little bit of rain, and you would think that it might cool us down a little bit, but it's not going to do too much. But let's take one last look at the local with Evan.
That's right. The local look at, wow. The live look at Doak Campbell Stadium looks gorgeous right now. Look at that sunset. That is beautiful, right, over Doak Campbell Stadium. But we're still seeing 79 degrees under those sunny skies. It is really mild for this time of year. We're well above normal. Our normal high this time of year is only 71, and we waded into the middle 80s today. So really seeing those late spring, early summer-like conditions here. We're still really humid, too, so it's really uncomfortable and muggy outside. Really just not a good hair day if that messes with your hair. But we still have that aforementioned smoke there that Nikki was talking about in Liberty County. I believe that's in the Apalachicola National Forest. And thankfully, these are not very tall pyrocumulus or pyrocumulus clouds or pyrocumulonimbus clouds. Say that 5 times fast. Not as tall as the Egyptian pyramids or anything, but that's still smoke to deal with nonetheless. So just be careful if you're headed out in that region because it could be a little smoky out there. Temperatures, like I said, are still really mild for this time of year. Still sitting at 79 in Tallahassee. 81 is our hot spot in Quincy right now, and we are cooler down by the coast. 72 in Apalachicola and 74 over there in Perry. Like I said, we did make it up into the middle 80s today. 84 was our official recorded high temperature at Tallahassee International, only 3 off the record pace set back in 1918 of 87. So really mild for this time of year, and we're still really muggy too. We have dew point sitting in the middle to upper 60s area-wide currently, so it is really uncomfortable. Not a great day for people that are sensitive to air quality, of dealing with those muggy conditions. So if you have asthma, it's really not a great day to be outside. So maybe take it a little easier over the next couple days. We are still going to remain cloudy. Not a good day, a night for stargazing out there. We could have a couple pop-up showers tomorrow as well. And also be aware, tomorrow morning we could have some reduced visibility. So just be aware of that. There may be some patchy fog around tomorrow morning. So just be aware of that as well. Nothing crazy in terms of rainfall for tomorrow. Just some hit or miss showers here and there along the I-10 corridor. Going down to 66 tonight. So we are mild overnight. Only mostly cloudy skies and only a southerly breeze at 6 miles an hour. So that's why we have that fog risk, because we are so humid and the winds are pretty light. So widespread upper 60s, maybe a little bit warmer down by the coast, sitting at 69, but really mild night. That's actually very close to the average high for this time of year. So very mild overnight low temperatures. And we head back up towards that 80-degree mark tomorrow afternoon with that just a slight shower chance for tomorrow afternoon, and we do have a little bit of a breeze coming out of the south-southwest at 13 miles an hour, kind of pumping in that moisture and humidity. Again, widespread 80s, a little bit cooler down by the coast in the 70s. There's that week ahead, that shower chance for tomorrow, a greater shower and thunderstorm threat on Friday with that cold front coming through, and what a cold front. We dropped 1 degree for our daytime highs for the weekend. The weekend looks beautiful though, and then we are back into the middle 80s by the middle of next week. Nico, where did winter go? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about, we heard us say meteorological spring a lot of times, and I wanted to clarify, I'm sure you guys are wondering, what is the difference between meteorological spring and astronomical spring? And so astronomical spring happens on March 20 days from now, and it happens during the equinox. And during the equinox is when roughly the daytime and nighttime are roughly the same amount of hours. And so that is also when at the equator, the sun, the middle of the sun is at an equal distance from fall and spring. Now, meteorological spring is meteorologists like to refer to meteorological spring based on temperature cycles. So now that we are actually experiencing relatively warm temperatures early on in the spring, it might be possible that sometime in the future meteorologists might actually extend the season or make meteorological spring a little bit earlier. And this goes for a lot of other factors as well. Actually, I'm taking a class right now where we do look at certain trees that are sprouting earlier because of the spring. Now I'm going to have to go through our socials. If you are watching us live on YouTube, please subscribe and please follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter as well as TikTok. And now Evan is going to give us a look at our 7-day to close out our show.
Thanks, Nico. So again, we do have that shower threat for tomorrow, just a slight chance, only 30%. And then we up that for Friday as a more bona fide system makes its way towards us. The weekend looks beautiful, highs in the lower 80s, and we have lower humidity as well. And then we warm right back up for next week, sitting in the middle 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm student meteorologist Evan Regan. Have a great night, Tallahassee.